Hello and welcome to Math with Mrs. Becker. Today in Algebra 2, we are still working in section 3.6, where we are looking at systems of 3 by 3 equations, meaning each system will have 3 equations and each equation will have 3 variables. But what we're doing today is kind of stepping it up a little bit and applying this concept to real-life examples. So let's go ahead and look at 2 examples. The table shows the number of each type of tickets sold and the total sales amount for each night of the school play. Find the price of each type of ticket. So what happened is the play is running on 3 nights, Friday night, Saturday night, and then Sunday. When you are purchasing your tickets, there's 3 different locations. You could sit in the orchestra, you can sit in the mezzanine, or you can sit in the balcony. And then, of course, they gave us the total sales. So the first thing that we need to do is we need to take this information and turn it into a system of equations. So each day, Friday will be an equation, Saturday will be an equation, Sunday will be an equation. Let's say orchestra is X, mezzanine is Y, balcony is Z, equals, it always is going to equal the total. So for Friday, I have 200X plus 30Y plus 40Z. The total collected was $1,470. So there's an equation. Saturday, 250X plus 60Y plus 50Z. The total collected was 1,950. Now on Sunday, 150X plus 30Y. Nobody sat in the balcony on Sunday, okay? So equals, I don't have a Z, equals 1,050. So that is step 1, okay? Now here's the deal. When you're going from a 3 by 3 system, remember your goal is to ultimately break it down into a 2 by 2, so that way we can use the skills that we used way at the beginning of the chapter. Well, here's the cool thing. I already have an equation that only has 2 variables. This only has an X and a Y. So if I take these 2 and I cancel Z, I would have 2 equations that only have 2 variables and I could proceed. So I need to cancel a Z. This is positive 40, this is positive 50. So you need to ask yourself, what is a value I can turn both 40 and 50 into? For me, I'm like, hey, let's go ahead and do 200. But I need one of them positive and one of them negative. If I make the top a negative, that means I need to multiply everything on the top by negative 5, because that would be a negative 200Z. If I multiply everything in the middle row by a positive 4, 4 times 50Z would be 200Z. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. If I take negative 5 times 200, it's negative 1,000X. Negative 5 times 30 is negative 150Y. Negative 5 times 40 is negative 200Z. Now, if I take negative 5 times 1,470, I get negative 7,350. Now I take the whole middle and I multiply it by 4. 4 times 250X, oh, guys, look what happened. 1,000X. 4 times 60Y is 240Y. 4 times 50Z is 200Z equals 4 times 1950 is 7,800. Now check this out. This is when things can get crazy, okay? If I go ahead and add this, the X's are eliminated and the Z's are eliminated. Holy smokes. So if I have negative 150 plus 240, I have 90Y equals negative 7,350 plus 7,800 is 450. So at this point, I can go ahead and solve for Y. Y represents the price of sitting in the mezzanine. Go ahead and divide both sides by 90. So if I take 450 and I divide it by 90, mezzanine tickets are $5. When you know one variable, you go back to an equation that has 2. This equation has 2. It only has X and Y. I can replace Y with 5. 150x plus 30 times y is a 5 equals 1,050. Now I can just calculate this. 150x plus 30 times 5 is 150 equals 1,050. If I go ahead and minus 150 to each side, I would have 150x equals 1,050 minus 150 is 900. To solve for x, which is the price to sit in the orchestra, I just have to go ahead and divide 900 divided by 150. And in order to sit in the orchestra for the school play, the tickets are $6. Once you know two variables, you go into an equation that has three and you can find the third. And it doesn't matter which one it doesn't matter out of these two. We have to go to one of these two so we can solve for z. So I'm just going to go ahead and take the top. I have 200x. X is really a 6. Plus 30 times y. Y is really a 5. Plus 40z, the total was 1470. Now I just need to go ahead and solve for z. 200 times 6 is 1200. 30 times 5 is 150. Plus 40z equals 1470. If I add 1200 and 150, I get 1350. So 1350 plus 40z equals 1470. If I minus 1350 over, 1470 minus 1350 is 120. So I would have 40z on this side. 1470 minus 1350 is 120. Divide both sides by 40. 120 divided by 40 is 3. So in this case, you do not have to write your solution as an ordered triple because you're not saying a location and coordinate space where these three planes would meet. What you're doing is saying how much each type of ticket costs. So X, to sit in the orchestra, it's going to cost you $6. Y, to sit in the mezzanine, it's going to cost you $5. Z, to sit in the balcony, it's going to cost you $3. So it's more appropriate to label your solutions here than it would be to write your answer as an ordered triple. Okay, let's look at one more. Again, hopefully you notice that the process is still the same. We're just giving a different meaning. We're not looking for a geographical spot where the planes meet. We are actually looking to solve a real life problem. Okay, let's look at the second example. At the library book sale, each type of book is priced differently. The table shows the number of books Joy and her friends each bought and the amount that each person spent. Find the price of each type of book. So we have Hal, Ina, and Joy, and they went to the book sale. You could buy hardcover books, paperback books, and audio books. And then, of course, it told us the total that they spent. Let's say hardcover books represent X, paperback is Y, and audio is Z. So when I go ahead and I make my system of equations, whatever the total is, that's what it equals. So I would make an equation for each individual. So Hal had 3x plus 4y plus 1z. Hal spent $17. Ina, 2 hardcover plus 5 paperback plus 1 audio. Ina spent $15. Joy, 3 hardcover plus 3 paperback plus 2 audio equals 20. So you guys, that's step one. You have to go ahead and take the information and create a system of equations. Now the process is going to be the same thing that we have been practicing since we started 3.6. Step one, pick 2 equations and cancel a variable. So let's say I pick top and bottom and I want to cancel z. Well, in order to cancel z, you need opposites in front. Right now they're both a 1, which is awesome, but it's a positive 1 and a positive 1. So if I add them, 1z plus 1z would give me 2z. So I need to multiply one of the equations by a negative. So I'm going to go ahead and do that on the bottom. The top I'm keeping, 3x plus 4y plus z equals 17. The second equation, I'm going to multiply everything by a negative. Negative 1 times 2x is negative 2x. Negative 1 times 5y is negative 5y. Negative 1 times positive z is negative z. Negative 1 times 15 is negative 15. Now when I add them together, I'm canceling the z, and that's what I wanted to do. I picked two equations, canceled z. 3x minus 2x is just 1x. Positive 4y minus 5y is negative 1y. 17 minus 15 is 2. So that's step one. I picked two equations and I canceled a z. Now the next step, I need to pick two different equations, meaning I need to use the third equation, okay? I can do the third equation with the top, or I could do the third equation with the middle, but I need to use the third. I'm going to do the middle and the bottom. You have to cancel the same variable. So if I am canceling z, this is a positive 2z. I need to make this a negative 2z. So now I'm going to multiply the whole middle by negative 2. Negative 2 times 2x is negative 4x. Negative 2 times 5y is negative 10y. Negative 2 times positive z is negative 2z. Negative 2 times 15 is negative 30. Now I'm keeping the bottom the same because my goal here is to cancel z. And if I keep this the same, I'll be able to cross off z. 3x plus 3y plus 2z equals 20. Add them together. Negative 4x plus 3x is negative x. Negative 10y plus 3y is negative 7y. The z's canceled, and that's what we needed to do. Equals negative 30 plus 20 is negative 10. Okay, so I chose two equations, canceled a variable, chose two different equations, canceled the same variable. Now what we have is a 2 by 2. So I rewrite those. Here are my two results. X minus y equals 2. Negative x minus 7y equals negative 10. Now I can use this to solve for x and y. Check this out. If I go ahead and add these right away, the x's cancel. Positive x, negative x cancels. Negative 1y minus 7y is negative 8y. Positive 2 combined with a negative 10 is negative 8. If I divide both sides by negative 8, negative divided by a negative is a positive. 8 divided by 8 is 1. Again, we're talking about the price. Y is a paperback book. So if you buy a paperback book, it's going to cost you $1. Once you know one variable, you go to one of the equations that has 2. So if I go here, I have x minus y is a 1 equals 2. Now I can quickly solve for x. If I add 1 to each side, 2 plus 1 is 3. Again, what we're talking about is the cost of something, so I label it as money. X is hardcover book. So it costs $3 to buy a hardcover book. Once you know two variables, once you know 2, you go back to one of the originals. This time I'm going to go ahead and pick the middle, okay? It doesn't matter if you pick top, middle, or bottom. You're just going to fill in x and y so you can solve for z. I'm picking the middle. If I go 2 times x, x is 3, plus 5 times y, y is 1, plus z, that has to equal 15. Well, 2 times 3 is 6. 5 times 1 is 5, plus z equals 15. 6 plus 5 is 11, so 11 plus z is 15. To solve for z, I need to minus 11. So z equals 15 minus 11 is 4. It is a cost, so I'll go ahead and label it with a $sign. Z was audiobook. So at the book sale, if you want an audiobook, it's going to cost you $4. So we have hardcover books, cost us $3. Paperback book, cost us $1. Audiobook, cost us $4. Okay, so for the second part of 3.6, what we're going to do is look at a few questions out of the book. Just it's good to practice when in real life you might actually use this skill. So in section 3.6, number 4 is a good question, 11 to 14, and then jump ahead and do 20 to 22. There's also a worksheet. The worksheet is just basics, again, going ahead and solving systems of 3 by 3. This is one of those skills that sometimes it takes a little bit to to understand and be able to go through this process, okay? So I did not want to rush it. That's why we spent a few different days. So the second part is just to practice some basics and make sure we're comfortable. Hope you had a great day. I'll talk to you soon.